All right, and for this game, we have Zachary Moore in Austria, DBN's own Zachary Moore. He's one of the producers of the show. Alex Maslow in England. Alex is very well known to the diplomacy face-to-face hobby. We have the hobby's worst face-to-face player, John Jameson in France. Germany has Dave Roberts. Italy has Matthew Krill. Russia has Hal Schild. And Turkey has Christian Brown. Adam, anything jump out to you?
A number of very, very high quality players on this board: Zach Moore, Alex Maslow, Matt Krill. And John, when he plays seriously, can be a formidable opponent. In those rare occasions when that happens.
Well, I just think that this game has the potential for some real shenanigans and chaos with Maslow and John Jameson in England and France. Zachary is definitely a player to watch in this. And I'll just say Matthew Krill is a really strong alliance player. And, when you see which alliance that Matthew is taking, that's probably going to be it. He really holds tight to those. So this, I'm just looking forward to shenanigans in the West.
I cannot wait to see England and France, what happens there. I can see them both just doing some really fun stuff or just going at it. Either way, it'll be entertaining. All right, so for this game, we'll go ahead and have Adam in the West and Doug in the East. So Adam, take us off in the West.
Sure. We need to get the map graphic up.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Wake me up when something interesting happens. This is standard stuff. It's all okay. It's standard because it works and it's non-committal, and it lets it lets you get your opening dots without committing to anything. So I don't have any problem with it, but it's certainly not interesting. Nobody goes to Burgundy. Nobody goes to the English Channel. Everybody's got their play on. Belgium and Holland. So let's see who gets Belgium in the fall.
All right, and in the East?
Well, we've got quite a bit more fun here. Italy going to Tyrolia and Apulia is interesting. That's not unreasonably an unreasonable move. It can be interpreted a lot of different ways, but I like that move for Italy here. Certainly not enough to wig Austria out. I would say most importantly is with the bounce in Warsaw and Vienna and Galicia, and the direct move to Romania with Turkey taking the Black Sea, Russia is straight away behind the eight ball, and Turkey is in a pretty strong position to start this game.
Do you think there's any chance that Chris is going to convoy that army over and try and pop the Russian fleet?
Could. I mean, I don't know why I would do anything other than Bull to Rum, Smyrna or Armenia to Sev, supported by Black Sea. I think a lot of times, I've said this a couple times, sometimes less is more, and doing something that looks really smart can not really advance your position. Sometimes just doing the smart, safe, steady play is the right thing.
All right, let's find out. Doug, will stay with you in the East.
There it is.
Well, I mean, I did, Serbia to Bulgaria supported by Romania. That's a good play for Russia. That's nicely done. So let's call that like a nice tactical play. We got a bounce in Munich and a convoy over to Tunis. So, I would say the most interesting thing is the disband by Turkey, allowing Turkey to build two units rather than retreat that army. So I would expect you're going to see two Turkish fleets.
Adam in the West?
Yeah, actually, quite a few things stand out to me unusual. Doug pointed out the bounce in Munich, but what's interesting to me is that Ruhr went to Holland and Kiel bounced Munich rather than the other way around, which again is maybe a less flexible move because it's more limiting in terms of builds and in terms of what you can do from that position rather than keeping the unit in Ruhr. The French. It's John Jameson, so maybe this shouldn't come as a surprise that he decided to go to Paris. I guess there must be some rationale for going there. Maybe it's the wine and the cheese or something like that. The other thing that's really unusual is that we see the fleet in the North Sea going to Belgium as opposed to a convoy to Belgium. There's been a lot of conversations on various broadcasts like this that Belgium is where English armies go to die, and maybe we're avoiding that. But on the other hand, leaving the North Sea open has its own risks associated with it. And if there's a specific plan as to why you're in Belgium, that's great. And if there's not, it's maybe not the place you want to fleet either. So let's see. Germany. I guess I should also say Germany bounces Sweden. Interesting.
All right. Moving on to builds, we have a British fleet, English fleet in Liverpool, and a fleet in London. We have a French fleet in Brest, an army in Marseille, Italian fleet in Naples. We've got a Turkish fleet in Constantinople and an army in Smyrna. 2 Austrian armies, 2 German armies, and that's it. Adam, anything stand out to you?
Well, I mean, obviously, when you see the 2 English fleet builds like that, that's sending a pretty strong message for which way England is going. What I'm expecting is that London will go out to the north and Belgium will go into the English Channel while Holland takes over in Belgium, and they do that whole kind of shift in that direction. But I guess we'll see. Otherwise, nope. Germany put the 2 armies down, which means he's going French too. So France probably doesn't have a lot to be happy about. But on the other hand, Italy's not involved right now, and this is not an undefensible position at all.
All right. And Doug, anything in the East stand out?
Well, Austria has Serbia to build, and I think is a bit in the driver's seat here. But if I'm Italy, I'm having the conversation like, okay, what am I getting out of this? What am I getting out of this? I don't love the fleet in Caen and an army in Smyrna. I think it limits your flexibility because you're likely to get bounced in the Aegean, and you want to have the ability to tap Bulgaria if you need to. You might be able to persuade Russia to get on board, say, hey, look, you got me. It was a bad play. I'm walking out of Sev because he can't hold it. Mm-hmm. I think that if you want that army, and it's debatable whether you should, it needed to be in Caen, not in Smyrna.
All right. So staying in the East, Doug, go ahead.
All right. Well, they popped the fleet. I wonder if that was arranged, because that feels a little bit arranged. He moved to the Black Sea, negating his support. The hold in Caen, I'm not sure you needed to do that. Feels a little bit like Turkey got lucky here. But most importantly, you have a firm AI. And remember, I said in the beginning that Matt Krill is going to be a strong alliance player, and he's going to find his partner, and he clearly has. Look, they're already in Tyrolia and Bohemia. He's going to the East Med. The AI is on here.
All right, Adam in the West.
Yeah, and just to add to that, this is the kind of play you want from an AI, right? Where you're making an influence on both sides of the board, because that Tyrolia Bohemia position is going to make a massive difference on what happens in the West, right? So sort of what I suggested might happen happened. The Belgium did go to the English Channel, and Holland followed up, but Germany made a little bit more of a mixed move, going to Silesia, Ruhr, and not going to Burgundy. Which shows a little bit maybe of a lack of commitment to supporting that. But he did put the English in Norway, so there's that. The North Sea remains empty, thanks to the way the English made their moves. France supports themselves into the Mid-Atlantic, which again seems like a wasted order for Brest that could have just gone to the English Channel, wouldn't have made a difference here, but there was no particular reason to support that move. So it does look more like an EG against France, but it's not clear that Germany's completely committed to this. So we'll see. Also, noting that Liverpool went to the North Atlantic, not the Irish, which does give more flexibility for England to shift in the other direction if they decide that, hey, maybe this is not going to work out.
You know, Adam, I think you touched on something that I want to expand on just briefly, which is that support in Brest to the Mid-Atlantic. I don't think you really care whether or not you get into Burgundy here. I actually think you want to be going to Burgundy and Picardy and use that unit in Brest to support Paris to Picardy instead. I think that gives you a slightly better position.
Yep.
Let's find out how that influences things. Adam, let's stay in the West.
Okay, so England is going all out, right? They're leaving the North Sea open in spite of the German unit in Denmark. They're coming down to the English Channel, going up to the Irish Sea. This is all out against the French. I really want the Mid-Atlantic Ocean. And what does France do? They go to Ruhr for some reason. This is just a very a strange decision by France. I think, Germany certainly can't do anything to help. Can't do anything to help the French against England, but they can certainly try to at least do something friendly to them. And what do? They cut the support for Munich so that to try to help the Italians and Austria. I mean, maybe it's the right play if you're convinced that Germany's coming, but it's not clear that that's necessarily what's happening yet.
All right, and Doug in the East.
I think that the interesting thing here for me is the success of the convoy from Tunis to Smyrna. That gets in immediately. That's going to really clobber Turkey's position for the long term, even though Turkey is making some gains here. And with that shift north, I like what Zach has done here, putting himself into Budapest and Serbia. So, he's got play on Romania. And, and from an initial glance here, it looks like, why are you going to Galicia? This is a really strong move. First of all, it prevents Germany from sliding down there and mucking with you. Secondly, it gives you, opportunities on Warsaw and Romania for the long term. And having Italy hanging out in Tyrolia does the same thing, because you're not taking Munich. You just want to sort of irritate Germany a little bit and slow things down and, have an impact on what's going on with others. So I like this Austrian-Italian set of orders. I think Chris did a good job here taking Sev. Not much that Russia can do at this point, but you got to make a game of it, right? You got to try something.
We saw in an earlier game how much fun having that German army in Galicia can be. So a little good defense there by Zach in Austria.
Is the Turkey-Russian fight though really helping anybody except Austria and Italy? I mean, is this bettering Turkey's position? I mean, I guess Turkey's getting some builds out of it potentially, but would Turkey be better off trying to find a way to work with the Russians, or is that just not going to happen at this point, or just not productive at this stage?
Doug, you want to take that one?
Just try and go fast. That's, I mean.
Oh, sorry. we'll go fast. We'll find out. We'll find out.
Let's just, I think the alliance structures are pretty clear here.
Yeah. All right. So we've got starting in the West, looks like we've got a German army in Berlin. We've got a fleet in Naples, Austrian army in Vienna, and those are the only changes I'm seeing. We'll keep going. Doug, I'll let you take the East.
This is, there's not a lot here that you would not expect. I think that, again, we have a strong AI. They're playing it correctly. Russia's going to get Sev back, but that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. What's dictating this board at this point is the strong AI alliance, and they're being effective. They might get a bounce in Bohemia. It doesn't matter. They're stymieing Germany and they're locking Germany up while they're presenting themselves for the opportunity to get the bulk of the gains in the East. And already we have Italy shifting west. I mean, this is a pretty strong alliance. They're going to depend on each other, and it's going to drive the rest of this game.
Yeah. And Alex, how about the West? Are they acting in a way they're going to be able to respond to this?
It doesn't look like it. I mean, the English are slow going against the French. The French take the English Channel while the English get into the mid-Atlantic. So, I guess there's a free walk to Portugal from this position. But in the long run, Italy's going to make some of those gains in Marseille and Spain if they're able to turn around really quickly, which is what's looking like it will be the case here. So I think I definitely give the edge to the AI right now over the EG.
All right. Staying in the West, Adam.
Yeah. So England retakes the English Channel, takes the free walk into Portugal. Now we're starting to see a little bit more aggression. Germany supporting themselves into Burgundy. I don't like the Berlin hold. I guess I can understand it because of the concern about Russia going into the Baltic as they did. But it might have been nicer to see a more aggressive move with that unity of the Prussia or even, back west to fill in some of the gaps there. And I think that's all. Yeah.
All right. Doug, how's the East?
Well, Turkey's toast. So we have our first elimination in the game. Made a swing at Sevastopol to stay in, but the support from Romania means that, AI continues to drive. They achieved Bohemia. They took Ankara. Again, they're in the driver's seat. You've got Italy and Austria probably plopping armies down. Italy can put an army in Venice, and you'll get an army in Budapest. They're really in the driver's seat here. France and England are not reacting quickly enough here.
All right. So the end of winter of 03, this is our board position. Go ahead and run through the builds. We've got a English fleet in Eddy, a Russian army in St. Pete, an Austrian army in Vienna and Budapest, a fleet in Naples. We've got Good Game Chris Brown, and then it looks like a French disband in Marseille. Adam, what stands out to you with these builds?
Yeah, I think nothing terribly surprising. France, by removing Marseille, is saying, "Okay, England, you want to do this. I'm going to leave. I'm going to defend against you, and Italy is going to do what they want to do." And I think that's the right message you want to send here.
Yep. And Doug?
I don't love the fleet in Naples. The two armies are fine. I guess Matt can go Tyrolia to Piedmont, and Austria can replace it. But you're putting an awful lot of trust in Austria at that point. I think I'd rather have an army on the board right now.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but it's definitely creating an invitation that doesn't necessarily need to be there at this point in the game.
Yeah, I mean, no alliance is unshakable. They're really working well together, but that might be just one too many. I'd be a little uncomfortable with that, particularly since Austria is poised to get Sevastopol this year.
All right. So, Doug, I'll let you lead off in the East.
We see, the firm alliance continue. Austria walks into Warsaw from Galicia, and it looks like Russia's thrown in with the Eastern powers. So now you have, an air alliance for what it's worth. So that actually adds an exciting dynamic to the rest of this game. Italy walks into Marseille. The West is toast. This game is going to quickly resolve here.
Yeah, it'll be really
strong AI.
Yeah. All right, Adam. West.
Yeah, you got to hand it to France. I mean, this is exactly the moves that make sense, right? You're looking to punish England here, and if that's your goal, that's what you're doing, right? You piff them out of Portugal, you support Italy into the mid-Atlantic, let them walk into Marseille. I mean, this is how you punish England for doing what they did.
I'd love to see the shift from Russia. I'm really curious to see how patient the AI is going to be. But that's going to just crush the West.
Well, I mean, Munich isn't going to hold, right? Because they're going to get into position to take Munich very, very, very soon. And Germany is continuing to push into France. And France is going to have no compunctions about cutting whatever supports they can on the other side of the board. So,
Yeah, this is a. I mean, it'd be awesome to hear the diplomacy that got Hal to make this move. Is Russia, however it happened, this is the right play, I think, for him, and it really just rocks the West. Boy, they've got their work cut out for them in the West here.
Yeah. All right. So Doug, I'll let you lead off with this one.
Okay, again in the East, we have the alliance continuing on here. They're going to let Russia build, which is fascinating. They walked out of Warsaw to piff the German unit there. They've got Germany pinned in here. They probably could have taken Munich if they really wanted it to. I'm not sure why they didn't do that. But otherwise, in the South, it's just Italy is just rolling. You get the mid-Atlantic, you get Spain, you're poised to take Marseille again. Whoa, boy. France is punishing England and doing a good job of it.
All right. So this was where we will end this one. Position in 1904. Doug, who do you like?
I mean, I don't like any one power necessarily. I like AI. I probably like Italy a little bit more right now just because of how far west those fleets are versus, Austria can run into a bit of a grind in terms of grabbing those armies. That said, I like the Austrian position as well.
All right. And Adam?
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. It's, if they stick together for a while, they're going to wreak some havoc on this board.
All right. Moving on to board 6. Let's see. Adam, do you recall anything about this board? It's one with Alex, John Jameson, Hal, Zach Moore.
Yeah, we do. This is the mammoth AI.
The AI that was just dominating the board. I think Russia is working with them as well, and I think the East is just kind of dominating and pushing through. It looks like Italy just made it into the Mid-Atlantic, and they may be taking Munich very shortly as well.
Yeah. All right. Let's find out.
Yeah, when we left, Russia had just switched position to help AI and put them in a real dominant spot.
All right. So for our builds, English disband, French build in Brest, Fleet Brest, Army Moscow, Army Venice. Anything jump out to you here?
Yeah, now in this instance is probably the right disband. There's part of me that's like pull Norwegian and keep now but it's okay. As long as you move London to Yorkshire, that's okay because, if Mid-Atlantic gets dislodged, he'll go north.
Yeah. The second fleet in Brest is going to be fun also.
Well, I think it's sending a message to the other powers in the West that, hey, I'm on board with the program, and I'm not throwing Italy anymore. This is real, and I'm going to try to help.
Yeah.
Unless he goes to the Irish Sea, which there's a 50-50.
Yeah, fair.
Well, we'll find out. Adam, I'll have you do the West for this board. So
Sure.
Talk us through what happens.
Okay, and see, I spoke way too soon, and I'm already eating crow, right? France is continuing to do nothing but support the Italians forward. I'm honestly surprised. I think maybe an army might have been more helpful in that case, to get them into Marseille and get them up into Burgundy. But hey, this isn't too bad either. Cuts the North Sea, which really has no effect because it was England convoying. Is that into Holland?
Yeah.
That's just really hard to understand why that would happen right now. Maybe it's to go down to Ruhr or something, but it's these moves are just look like England and Germany are totally off page with one another. I mean, Germany's going to Picardy. Okay, if there's an expectation that France is going to do something like that, but this is really rough, and we see that by the loss of Berlin and Munich in this turn. These guys are rolling. They're just rolling.
The fall turn of this, so in the East, first of all, Silesia and Munich fall to Austria and Italy. Italy's in Piedmont and can force Marseille. they're in position at this point with Russia's help to force Kiel. They're going to take 3 German dots at this point. AI are just going to, they're growing just so fast. I think Italy might be able to take Portugal and Marseille this turn. This is just a devastating turn. And, going to the Irish Sea, I mean, wow. All right. I mean,
and I know last week,
it's an AI.
Before the break, we were talking about Russia kind of joining in to see what kind of impact that'll have. Not a lot of movement there. So I think Russia's still kind of in a kingmaker mode a little bit. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for Russia to really move. The fleet is the most important piece. At this point, all of the damage was done when he retook St. Petersburg in the past. Now, that piece going to Kiel absolutely cut a critical support and helped Austria get into Berlin. I would expect to see, knowing Zachary and Matthew, that they will reward that by putting Russia into a dot.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we go ahead and start in the West, Adam?
Yep. All right. So it'd be helpful to see what these supports are. Is that the North Sea supporting the channel into Belgium? It is. Okay. I mean, the fact that there is really no effort on the other side of the board to stop this is, I mean, it is what it is for these guys. But look at this. I mean, you've got Germany trying to take Holland back. You've got protecting the Low Countries. Nobody's even making any effort to stop it. Italy is going to build a couple this turn. They're taking Marseille and Portugal. They don't take Liverpool, because they can force the North Atlantic, of course.
Right, and they take Munich. I mean, Italy took Portugal, Marseille, and Munich.
Yep. There's a little bit of mistrust, I guess, going back to cover Venice, but, this is not a major thing. It will be interesting to see where it goes from this, given Austria made a point of leaving Trieste open for a build. So we'll see. And also note, I guess, yeah, go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Austria's building 2. They took Kiel and Berlin. Germany is shattered, and the Russian also got Sweden. I mean, this is just again a mammoth failure on the coordination of the West. They can't help each other. They're not working together. Jameson is actively moving Italy as fast as possible. And I think Zachary's being wise here in the East and basically saying, like, well, you're growing really fast. I'm going to make sure you can't stab me and go for a solo here. So I think this is reasonably good, smart, cautious play. He's going to put a couple more armies on the board, and Italy really isn't going to be able to do anything about that. And that secures Zachary's strong position.
I would love to hear the after action report on why we've got these dots being thrown from John Jameson.
Well, I think we saw earlier on why John decided to do that, right? I mean, I think he got attacked by England, and I think he was just more angry at England for doing what England did than what Italy had done, and so he just decided he was going to throw it to Italy, which I think was sensible given the situation. If he couldn't defend against both of them, then just defend against one.
Yeah.
And this is a place where you have to know, if you know how John Jameson plays, you've got to know if you're going to pull those shenanigans, you got to beat him, because otherwise he will make you pay the price, and he doesn't care about the impact on the full board. He's going to make you suffer.
I don't know if Dave's played, but I know Alex should be aware. They've played enough to where he should be aware of that. So. All right, moving on. We've got the disbands from the French, keeping the fleet in English.
Of course.
Alex builds army. Go ahead, Adam.
No, I was just saying, of course, John keeps the fleet in the English. It's the one that's the most annoying to England. Of course he does.
We've got an army in Rome, fleet in Naples, 2 armies for, everything else looks pretty expected. Fleet North Coast makes sense. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. All
So
right.
you think so? Do Austria and Italy, are they just negotiating a shared board top at this point? You think, Doug?
Yeah, I think so. And you know, I wouldn't be too surprised if, you know, look, Russia's going to get Denmark here. Didn't build in the south, which you know, he could have done. So, you know, Russia's going to be sitting on 7, and that's a fantastic result here, given, you know, he was at what, 3 at one point?
Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, think about this comeback by Russia. That, you know, throwing in with the strong AI has been very beneficial with that chaotic West. So yeah, I think that this game is getting close to ending. Knowing Zachary and Matthew, who are playing Austria and Italy respectively, and how they play this game, they are not stabbing each other. They're gonna play this together to the end.
And I think it's a testament to their strategic decision to keep Russia in the game. I think that has really helped them, and rewarding him by letting him grow instead of taking those dots has worked out well for them. All right, so Doug, let's start in the East.
Yeah, you know, they traded dots over there. That's probably for fun. It's like, why not? It actually is a little more defensible for them. Really, there's not that much to talk about in the East. It's an AI moving as fast as possible. The one thing that, you know, and Adam will talk about this more extensively is what's happening in Munich.
Yeah.
Is that a Zachary stab? Could be.
Yeah. All right.
He went to Bulgaria. He's in Bulgaria as well. I mean, potential to force him out of Khan now.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. You know, he's in Tyrolia and Trieste, which is good. Forced Munich. They could have arranged that. You know, Matthew might be saying, well, you know, I'm liable to get Liverpool. Why don't you take Munich now?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to Ruhr, and then we can take Holland. So this all might be arranged. I can't imagine it's an actual stab.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect it's arranged, knowing these players, but we'll find out.
Yep.
All right, Adam, talk us through the West.
Yeah, I mean, clearly we can see that we have. So the Austrian did kick the Italians out of Cannes, but I'm not sure that this ends up any different. So the Austrians are taking 2 green dots, and the Italians are taking 1 dot. So no, this is going to put the Austrians.
Holland. And they did not get into Liverpool. Okay.
No, they didn't. So this is actually going to put Austria up by 1, and if this is where they're going to end it, and Italy is happy with that, then good job to Zach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it looks like a little friction there. You know, Italy went back to the Ionian Sea, so you know there might be some grumbling here.
But what are they going to do? All right, so we've got
so the fleet and Seb. I love it.
Yep, why not? Because why not?
Because why not? Get yourself in the Black Sea.
Yeah, and I think this is the draw here.
Yep. This is it. So congratulations, Zach Moore.
I like that stab at the end of the game. That was nicely done. That was well executed, and it was strong. And there wasn't much that could be done about it. Look at that. It's like a 2-track of armies through the center of the board. I've never seen that before. It's like, what is happening there? That's so many armies.
Is that our best Austria that we've seen this game?
Might be.
12 center top is a pretty strong Austria.
Yeah.